Hello, I'm Chef Krista Van Wagner and welcome to my kitchen. I'd like to take you on an adventure through Chile with food. How's that sound? We are doing 3 parts. Part 1 will be the Empanada de Pino. And very interesting. I can't wait to share that with you. Second, Ceviche. And in Chile is next to Peru, and there's always this war. Like, who's better, the Peruvian or the Chilean? So what I've done, after researching both recipes, is kind of combined the two. So we'll have some fun with that. And last but not least, we have to finish it up with some Pebre. Pebre is like a Chilean salsa, and they serve that on the side with bread and on the side of the empanadas. So I just want to prepare you for that dinner party. So parts 1, 2, and 3. So let's get started with our Empanada de Pino. It's interesting as heck. Okay, so why do I find it so interesting? It's just ground beef and it's seasoned, a bit of cumin, a bit of chili powder, etc., etc. But the garnish is what's so intriguing. Hard-boiled eggs are in the center of all this ground beef. So we're going to just quarter these. Black olives, think of this contrast. So now we've got creaminess and then a bit of the saltiness from the black olives. And I've got some raisins that I've soaked in a bit of warm water. I kind of brought them back a little bit. So listen, isn't that interesting? Raisins, eggs for creaminess, and then a bit of saltiness from the olives. And that's why this is so exciting. Empanadas are everywhere in Chile. Everywhere. All different shapes. And for each shape and size, there's a different filling. There's vegetarian ones. There's seafood. This is a meat-filled one. And when you're out and you're listening to reggaeton and you're out at the bars and doing karaoke and having all that fun, when you're walking home, either you go for the sweet one, the sopapillas, or you go get an empanada. And lunchtime, there's lines out the door. So I want to bring you this fun idea. Everybody wraps something, you know. We do pierogi, okay? The Oriental, they do the wontons and the, you know, things like of that sort. And then in Jamaica, they do patties. And boy, in Colombia, they do empanadas too, but with different fillings, different doughs. It's all different. And that's what I love about this experience I had in Chile, was to really not just learn it out of a cookbook, but, you know, go out dancing and go grab an empanada on the way home. Or how about a sopapilla, you know? Anyway, that's how you learn. And that's why I'm here. I'm going to share this with you. I spent 1 month in Chile with Buffalo State. I just graduated in August of 2019, and I took the study abroad program for 1 month, and I, even at my funny age, went and enjoyed myself as a student. It was quite relaxing to have people help me and tell me where to go and what to do, so I enjoyed that part of it. I just want to go over the ingredients for this. I'm using a bit of pork and ground beef. Your call. Pork, ground beef. You can use chicken or turkey if you want to make it a little healthier. Our spices, I've got fresh ground black pepper. Oh, better slow this down. Fresh ground black pepper, a kosher salt, this really wonderful organic Mexican chili powder, really good. Cumin, and some nice Hungarian, I did a sweet paprika. You could use a hot paprika if you want, but I wasn't in the mood for that. Lots of onions, and I use the Vidalia. The Vidalia onions are a bit sweeter, and I'm really excited. Look at almost the same amount of onions to beef. That's interesting, I find. And then I've got a little beef broth and 1 tablespoon of flour. We'll come back with the dough after we finish our filling, so we've got to get that in the oven to cool. I'm going to start this with just a little bit of coconut oil. Okay, here we go. That looks good. And a nice hot pan. So hover your hand over your pan. I want to sear in the ground beef, okay? We're going to drain off all that extra grease. I'm really trying to stay healthy these days, so go ahead. Doesn't really add any extra flavor to the item, so let's drain it off. So just hover your hand over that, and I want it to be almost at smoking point when you put your meat into it. I don't want to poach my meat. I want to sear it. So here we go. I hear a sizzle in my pan. We cook with our ears and our eyes. So there we go. I'm going to continuously work with this. I want to break it up in really small pieces. Coat each little piece with that beautiful seasoning. So there we go. I hear it. It's still talking to me. It's a nice heavy-duty wok. cook with all senses. Our eyes, we're looking at it, I'm listening, it's sizzling away, I hear it. My pan's at a great temperature. Yep, that's as high as it goes. Alright. So we'll just brown this and then we'll strain off the grease. I've got my strainer all set right here. And a little tin underneath there. Don't put that grease down the drain, okay? Alright, that ground beef is looking good. And I want you to notice how well I broke that up. Like I said, you don't want any really large pieces in there. So just keep stirring it around. We're just about there. It looks perfect. Alright, I'm going to get rid of this. Strain it off. There we go. And let's get our coconut oil back in there. We're going to saute out our onions. When we saute our onions out, what we're doing is we're bringing out the natural sugars, the sweetness. Plus I have a Vidalia onion, and wow, it's already got beautiful sweetness to it. So we're going to saute these onions until they're fragrant. I'm not caramelizing them, okay, just till they're fragrant, transparent. I hear the sizzle in my pan. I'm at the perfect temperature. And you know what I like? I don't know if you noticed, but I have my mise en place all laid out. And boy, what a difference it makes. So I want you to slice and dice and organize everything in the order that you're going to be working with it. It really makes cooking more enjoyable. Like right now I'm having fun with you. Yeah, and that's what you should be doing with your guests. A lot of times you end up in that kitchen. A lot of people. And you can just put your meal together right in front of everyone if you're all organized. And that's when you enjoy your glass of wine. Alright, that sounds good. It's a little bit longer. Saute that out. Okay, that sounds good. Now I also like to saute out my spices. So I'm going to add them now. I'm going to add my chili powder. My cumin. Oh, this is coming together. I smell it already. And a bit of my paprika. I'm going to add the black pepper, but I'm going to stay away from the salt. I add that at the end. That's to taste, okay? We'll shake that up. Some of you might not even need it with all the things going on in here. So, Empanada de Pino. The shape was a square. I'm going to do just a cup, a circle. I think it'll be easier for all of us. But this was a rectangle shape, the Pino. Interesting. And then they just cut it on the side and you just bite into there. You look at that beautiful egg. So this is aromatic. I'm bringing it up to my nose. And I can actually taste it. It's delicious. Right now it tastes delicious. My onions are sauteed out. They're fragrant. Stir that around a bit. And now we're going to deglaze our pan with a bit of beef stock. And it's kind of like a roux idea. We're just going to make it in the pan, but we're going to thicken the sauce a little bit with a little bit of flour. So here we go. Deglaze. What does deglaze mean? We're going to bring up the flavors in the bottom of that pan up into a sauce that'll then coat and thicken the meat. Okay, it'll give it all kinds of flavor. So here we go. I want to hear that sizzle. There we go. I hear it. That's good. That's about a quarter cup. You don't really need too much. Let's see. Let me take a look at it. I'm making a little well. You can see just a little well in the center. I'm going to add just a little bit more. I think I cheated myself. There we go. I'm going to add a tablespoon of flour. Make sure your liquid's at a boil. And we'll put that in and it'll seize right up. Just make sure you cook this out. It doesn't take long at all. Stir that in and cook that real floury taste out. There we go. And it did. That's beautiful. It's just a little bit of a sauce. Not much. But that looks great. So that is our filling. I'm going to put this in the fridge. We'll let it cool. And then, oh, you know what I have to do? This is really important. Before I put it in the fridge, taste it now, okay? This is your last chance to season it. Your last chance. So let's just give it a quick taste. I love all those onions. I love those onions. Great. Good. It does need that salt. Okay. So, there we go. Yes, it needed it. Flour's cooked out. Shutting that off. Came together well. Alright, in the fridge we go. Now that we have our filling all set and in the fridge chilling, let's get started on our dough. A different kind of a dough this empanada dough is. So let's get going on that. I'm going to heat my milk up with 1.5 teaspoons of, by the way, that's 1 cup of milk. I'm going to heat that up with 1.5 teaspoons of salt and 8 tablespoons of shortening. And if you want, you're more than welcome to use butter. That's absolutely up to you. Sometimes I use half butter, half shortening. I guess it depends upon my food. Alright, so we're going to heat that up. And let's take our, it calls for 5 cups of flour, but I'm only putting 4 in it. I have an additional cup over here if I need it. You can always add more flour. It's hard to add more liquid if your dough's too thick. So let's just put that in the center. I'm just going to build a little well in there. And we are going to take our eggs and whisk them. We are going to take the hot milk and we're going to temper it in these eggs, because if I put these eggs in that hot milk right now, they'd curdle, they'd scramble. So we'll temper it by adding just a little bit of that warm milk to this egg, and then we'll add the egg into our milk, because it'll cool it down just a bit. Alright, our milk's at a boil. Let's get that, and I'm going to teach you how to temper. So I think everyone should know. So I've got this all set, and I'm going to just add a little bit to my, I've got 2 eggs here, and I whisk them really good. Okay, whisk them good. Now slowly add a little of that warm milk. There we go. Now they won't scramble on you when we take this, and we whisk this into here. Otherwise they'd be scrambled eggs. And there you go. This is so interesting. It's kind of very similar to the Oriental when they make wontons. They use warm water. So let's go. Let's see how smooth and silky this technique. It changes the texture of the dough. So what I've done is I just made a little well in the center of my bowl. So I'm going to pour not all of this, okay? 89% of it. How's that sound? Into my bowl, okay? Like I said, you can always add more flour, but it's difficult to add more liquid into any sort of a dough. So, and I like it a little looser. So let's see what we got going here. Alright, I definitely need the rest of this to bring it together. That's a very little bit. And just pull it in with a spatula. I just can't wait to get my hands into it, I'll tell you that. There, that looks great. So this dough is going to rest in the fridge for 1 hour, okay? You have to give it time to get the glutens together. Alright, I'm going to bring it together with my hands. Should be, oh yeah, that feels great. Wow, it's a little bit warm. It's kind of dough that you're going to look forward to working with. And it's not as gentle, you know, as like pie dough. Pie dough, I'm always so worried about overworking. These empanadas are so much fun. It's amazing how so many different cultures wrap things up in dough or crust or lettuce or whatever. And there you go, that is coming together nicely. Push it together, and we're going to take that, put it on our cutting board, and we'll wrap that up and let that rest. Interesting texture, very interesting. That looks great right there. Like that. Alright. And I'll wrap it up, put it in the fridge, let it rest 1 hour, and we'll be back to roll these fun empanadas out and stuff them with hard-boiled eggs and grapes and olives. So interesting. And we'll be serving that with Pebre, which will be part 3 of my Chilean cooking series. So follow along. Alright, take a break. Alright, we're back. We're ready to go. My dough is rested 1 hour in the fridge. I have my meat mixture all cooled down. My eggs are quartered. I made an egg wash. You can use just 1 egg and a little milk or a little water and whip it up with a fork. You're all set there. And I've got my olives for garnish and my raisins. So let's get ready. Let's get this together. Okay, so let's take our dough and put it up top there. I've got, I think that looks like a good size. I'm going to do 2 of them. Maybe I'll do 3. Alright, the size that I've chose is, I'm using this as my, to trace with, is just this bowl. I want a good size patty. These are for their lunch boxes. We're going out on a picnic. How's that sound? Alright, here we go. Let's take and just brush our board with just a little bit of flour. I don't want you to work too much flour into it. Spread that out, the flour, just a little bit, not too much, okay? And just place that there. Get flour on both sides so it doesn't stick. A 1, 2, 3. And working with this dough, it really is, it's very silky looking. So it's an egg dough. It's interesting. I think that should be big enough for my template. What do you think? Up just a little bit more. Bring that out. About a 1/4 inch thick, okay? I don't want it too thick. And try to keep it even all the way around for me, okay? Now, there you go. I got that. That's perfect. And that is my template. So there's one. Oh, look how beautiful that is. That's for our empanada. And let's do one more. A little more flour. Okay? Spread that around. And there. That's our other one. Don't put too much pressure on there, okay? Try to keep it all the same width, thickness all the way through. I really don't want you to have that one heavy, thick side. Difficult to work with, and it doesn't bake evenly that way as well. Looking good there. If it's sticking a little bit, just pull it up, brush a little more flour underneath it, spin it over because we don't want it to stick. Let's see if we did it. 1, 2, 3. Yes, we got it. And there's your template. That works so easy. Those little biscuit cutters are just a little too small. I want something that I can really put some meat into. So that looks great. Now, the egg wash we have right here. I'm just going to egg wash it around the edges. Whoa, there we go. Sorry about that. I guess I didn't swish it around enough. Darn that egg white. And there we go. Okay, so just all the way around the edges. That's interesting. And that'll help make sure it seals. I don't want any of that oozing or coming out. These I'll save. You can use those and re-roll them. Don't worry about it. Our stuffing, it's all cooled down, looking good. We'll just put that, not exactly in the center. Just fill like the left side. Go starting right from the middle and down. And I want a good amount in here. I'm going to be hungry on my picnic. I'm so looking forward to this. And so easy. Make these up ahead. Bake them before you leave. They're still warm. Perfect. Perfect. All right. So our eggs, we'll do 2 eggs. We'll do 1, 2. And like I said, that yolk gives it this incredible creaminess. All right, there's my 2 eggs and my olives. I'm just going to put them anywhere. And don't overdo it, okay? I mean, it isn't all. It's just a little occasional bit of a interesting saltiness or sweetness. So it's just a few raisins, all right? That looks good. And I do this so I can see how many I'm putting in there. And that's good. Perfect. Oh, this is great. And let me grab a fork. And now I'm going to do the old-fashioned method. And we're just going to fork it all the way around. Gently lift that, keeping your filling all the way in the center. Nice. And there, that's perfect. Let's see if we can do the same here. This one's a little more overstuffed, as you can see. I'm very generous, but this one's mine. It's got my name on it, I think. And here we go. We'll lift that up, holding that together. Nice. All right, and let's just give it a fork all the way around. You know, it's just a little more love when you make the dough homemade. And that's what I'm trying to get you to do, is to just take that extra step. The dough is an extra, what, half hour, I'd say, maybe total. All right, mine's looking awfully good. Let me take care of my partners. Here we go. This will be great. So like I said, make these up ahead of time. Cover them really good with saran wrap. And just before you bake them, put your egg wash on them. I'm going to pop them in the oven at 400. Go fast. There we go. I'm going to brush these on top just to give them a little bit of sheen with a little bit of that egg wash as well. The egg wash shines them up. Charge extra when you put the egg wash on top. We're always raising the bar, raising the bar. So we'll pop these in, and I'm ready. Yeah, I pop them in about 20 minutes, 400 degrees, but make sure between 20 and 30 minutes, I'm going to say. It depends on your oven. But put it dead center, and make sure after 10 minutes that you spin the pan. Or if they're browning too much in the bottom, put them up in the higher rack. But I always go dead center and switch it around through the cooking time for even cooking, even browning, especially when you got a crust. There we go. Can't wait. I think we're just about ready. Let's check and see how we're doing. Yep. So give yourself about 30 minutes, all right? About 30 minutes for a nice golden brown. These look great. Look at that. Look at that. We'll leave that one right there. And this one, we're just going to cut open because I want to share with you the beauty of the inside. The beauty. So these empanadas are one of my favorite dishes. And you probably also wonder why I have this cowboy hat on. Well, I just want to let you know that I just get so excited about the Chilean experience that this is it. I mean, my favorite experience when I was in Chile was a horseback ride up the Andes Mountains, finished with a Chilean-style barbecue. And there was wine and music, a fire, and going down the mountains in the dark. The horses, they knew their way. You didn't have to worry at all. Because, you know, after all that wine, I was rocking with that horse. Perfect. I just loved it. But here we go. Look at, isn't that beautiful? And in part 3, I'm going to do a nice Chilean Pebre, which I would love for you to serve on the side with this. But if that doesn't rock your world, I don't know what does. So that, if I can only tell you what it does to me, just doing things like this, and just the memories, a flood of memories, beautiful memories from my experience 1 month living in Chile with Buff State, Travel Abroad. It was a great opportunity. So thank you, Buff State. And if you're a student, I would love for you to, down the road, if you have the opportunity to sign up for study abroad, because a cuisine, to live it is to learn it, and the people and the customs. So these are my Empanadas de Pino, and I was so happy to share them with you. But isn't that beautiful? I would love to know what you thought of this recipe in the comments. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and it may be featured in one of our question and answers videos. If you have any suggestions about a meal that I should make, please leave them in the comments below. If you like this video, which is part 1 of my 3-part Chilean series, please give it a like and be sure to subscribe.